at Hiroshima and then again at Nagasaki came the world-shaking explosions of the atomic bomb.
It's not often that a moment of history happens in just a few simple seconds, and yet it was the case for one of the single most significant events of the Second World War, the American bombing of Hiroshima, the use of the first atomic bomb in a conflict. The death toll all but impossible to establish with any certainty. It's estimated that up to 140,000 people may have died, either instantly or in the 2 weeks that followed, from their initial injuries or from the exposure to radiation. As for the survivors, in Japan they are known as the hibakushas, their fate far from enviable. Out of irrational fear of contamination, many refused jobs. They even had trouble finding partners and getting married. They were veritable pariahs in post-war society. Today, these hibakushas are over 80 years old, but to ensure their suffering is not forgotten, they continue to fight. Last October, one of the largest associations of hibakushas won the Nobel Peace Prize for its fight against atomic weapons. So 80 years on, how are they still fighting? And how has the city reinvented itself to become a world peace capital? Makiko, Kobayashi, Aruna Popuri and Mélodie Sforza revisit Hiroshima for France 24.
8:16 a.m. on the 6th of August, 1945. A city reduced to rubble. More than 12 square kilometers of buildings wiped off the map in an instant. This survivor doesn't remember that day, but it shaped his entire life. Now, with the help of technology, the 81-year-old is able to go back in time.
You can hear the boom. It was as if I had been thrown into the mushroom cloud, as if I were inside. This has left a real impression on me. It helps us realize just how many people were killed by the atomic bomb.
Tanaka was a year old at the time of the bombing. 15 members of his family died. His city's determined to remind the world of what happened. This virtual reality software offers a close-up view of the attack from locations such as the A-bomb dome, 500 meters from the hypocenter.
To make the experience more realistic, we improved images of the ashes after the bombing. We also added sound, as well as injured people crying in pain just after the attack. Some survivors told me that the worst part wasn't what they saw, it was the smell of burning bodies.
Today, its tragic history has turned Hiroshima into a tourist destination. Last year alone, the city attracted around 12 million tourists from Japan and overseas. They come to see how this victim of war has become a worldwide symbol of peace. Survivors of the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki are called hibakusha. Satoshi Tanaka is one of the few still alive. There are only around 110,000 hibakusha left in Japan, and they're reaching the end of their lives. Tanaka often comes to this shrine to honor the memory of his ancestors who died in Hiroshima. The shrine's sacred gates played a pivotal role on the day of the attack.
Here is the stone torii that survived. This temple building burned down and only the gate remained. After the attack, we used it as a landmark to find our way home. Tanaka's
family home once stood on this spot, now occupied by a school. Located less than 900 meters from the hypocenter, the house had no chance of surviving the inferno.
It's very painful for me to come here. Every time I pass by on the tram, I think to myself, I want to look, but at the same time, I can't. Even today, the feeling is too painful.
Tanaka survived, but his uncle and grandparents and other relatives died. The suffering did not end with the attack in its immediate aftermath. Survivors died from their burns and acute exposure to radiation. Tanaka has battled 5 bouts of cancer. The pain was compounded by unfounded rumors that Hiroshima survivors were tainted.
I eventually came to understand that atomic bomb survivors like me were marginalized and seen as different. For several months after the bomb, it was thought that the contamination was spreading. A friend, perhaps out of simple curiosity, carelessly asked me, "But you, are you sure you're not contagious?" For me, that question was a real shock. It really hurt me.
The hibakusha were ostracized for years. They were banned from public baths, and many were unable to find jobs or even marriage partners. They became social pariahs. Hiroshima tried and failed to shake off its tragic image. But this woman, a descendant of hibakusha, is trying to change that through her work as a manga author. And it's impossible to ignore her. She always wears pink.
Many people have this image of Hiroshima as a dark city. But I would like it to be seen as a place of peace, a city synonymous with happiness, a pink city. That's why I wear pink. Pink is the opposite of black, and by wearing pink, I hope people will appreciate the difference.
Pink is also prominent in Tada's 2019 manga Miracle Hiroshima. It's been translated into 3 languages, including French, and the online version has been downloaded more than 30,000 times. The manga emphasizes the positive things about Hiroshima, the people who rebuilt it, and its delicious cuisine.
Good morning.
Best known for okonomiyaki. Tada is a big fan of okonomiyaki, a kind of savoury pancake made from flour, water and cabbage, and a choice of toppings. It's more than just a dish. It symbolises Hiroshima's recovery.
When the city was reduced to ashes, women started selling okonomiyaki at street stalls. Then people began adding noodles because everyone was hungry, so it needed to be filling and nutritious. The idea was simply to satisfy people, as everyone was starving.
Okonomiyaki is the king of no-nonsense Japanese street food. For Tada and countless other people, it's every bit as evocative as a Madeleine moment.
Since I know the taste of okonomiyaki, for me it's the taste of a mother's love. Women who lost their husbands in the war had to raise their children alone. They also had to repair their homes. They made it with very few ingredients, using whatever they could find to feed their families.
Today, Hiroshima has risen from the ashes. It's a bustling, modern city of 2 million people and a global symbol of pacifism. Last October, the hibakusha's tireless campaign won international recognition when the main survivors organisation won the Nobel Peace Prize. As a member of Nihon Hidankyo, Tanaka was among those sharing the prize. Now in his 80s, he believes the struggle must go on, particularly at a time when so much of the world is blighted by war. He regularly gives talks to school children.
Through Mr. Tanaka's testimony, I hope that we will learn from the suffering of the past, reflect on the lessons that we can draw for the present, and think about our future.
Every day on television, we see the war in Ukraine and conflicts in the Middle East. Looking at these images reminds us the hibakusha, the survivors of the bomb, of what we experienced at that time.
He speaks to the students for an hour. His message is simple, that nuclear weapons are a threat to humanity.
The devastation caused by the atomic bomb is known all over the world. So why do nuclear weapons still exist? Why do they continue to multiply?
Perhaps those who possess them think they can impose their will with these weapons, yet they will lead to their own destruction. Today, if a nuclear weapon were used somewhere, it would lead to total war and the annihilation of the planet.
Tanaka says he'll continue his mission for the rest of his life, to ensure that the message of Hiroshima is passed down through the generations.
Hello, excuse me, where did you come from?
London, England.
Nice. So I'm doing a free kids guide, but do you have time?
Of course.
Thanks so much.
And she believed that...
Shun is a 10-year-old boy from Hiroshima with a passion for history. 3 times a month, he puts on his guide's cap and shows tourists around the Peace Memorial Park.
We did.
So that is called the Bell of Peace. And, yep, that was a loud ring.
That is a very loud ring. Wow.
Okay. So when you strike the bell, it is the symbol of nuclear energy.
Oh, wow.
Thanks to Sasaki, Julie, a visitor from England, has the perfect local guide to the places and people of Hiroshima.
Hands put together like this. And putting it
I didn't know about the bell. I didn't know that the flame of peace was lit in 1964, the year I was born. So I learnt so much from him. He really added to my visit here.
Sasaki has been a guide since he was 7 years old. He sees his role as a tribute to his grandmother, a hibakusha who died of cancer when she was 70.
She might be happy when I talk about her to many people. The thing I want to tell them is about, war is bad, peace is important, and how scary how one bomb destroyed one city and sadly killed lots of people.
About 140,000 people in Hiroshima had died by the end of 1945. They may have gone, but some of their possessions remain as a reminder of the horror of the bombing. Mitsunori Yagawa has spent decades restoring pianos that were badly damaged in the bombing. In their own way, they too carry an important message.
There are very few survivors still alive who can talk about what happened in Hiroshima. Pianos that made it through the atomic bomb will be around for much longer than humans. If they are well maintained, they can still play an essential role in transmitting this memory.
くんじゃないかなと思いますね。
These special instruments have been all over Japan and even to ceremonies overseas. They were played in public more than 150 times last year. Today, this young musician is playing one of the restored pianos. The notes drift away on the air, a poignant musical reminder of the tragic events of 80 years ago. And when the last hibakusha has gone, Hiroshima hopes the music of peace will play on.